Not in that first summer before college. Not afterward. Because of Jake. So many things had changed because of Jake. Kristen leaned forward in her chair to watch the aquarium screensaver on her computer monitor, where an angelfish was being chased through lengths of seagrass by a darting neon tetra. Aurora, you should be running this reunion, not me. No way! You're not weaseling out of it. I figured I could jumpstart it for you, but the reunion is your baby. Fine. Kristen capitulated. Why not? Believe it or not, I've done some work. I've got a couple of places who will cater if we really elect to have it at St. Elizabeth's. It's perfect! We were the last all-girls class to graduate, and now the school is closing. It would be weird to hold it anywhere else. I did a quick poll of the first few classmates I contacted, and the general consensus is to hold the reunion at the school. If you say so. Good. I'm sending you an email with an attachment. It's everything I've done to date. From there on in, you're in charge. See you in a couple of hours. You got it. Kristen hung up, popped a couple of aspirin for the impending headache, then buried herself in her work, effectively putting anything to do with St. Elizabeth's out of her head as she polished a human interest story about a man and dog who had spent a year walking from Missouri to Oregon via the Oregon Trail. Once she'd emailed the story to her editor, she glanced up from her cubicle. The Elvis clock mounted on the temporary wall over her desk swiveled its hips. As the clock kept time, the king's hands moved around the old-fashioned dial. Right now, Elvis was pointing out that it was nearly 6, and Kristen, as usual, was running late. She checked her email, found the note from Aurora, and printed out an Excel file which contained more information than she'd ever want on her classmates. Slinging her purse strap over her shoulder, Kristen stood up and stretched. She'd been allotted this cubicle while one of the newspaper's more roomy offices was being remodeled. She'd been with the Portland Clarion for 15 years, long enough to actually warrant an office, a dubious honor given that it felt as if the higher-ups scarcely noticed her. I'm out of here. Kristen closed her laptop, placing it and her Excel printout inside her computer briefcase. Big date tonight? Sabrina Lacey asked, 2 cubicles over, as she tossed back the remainder of her double espresso, then crumpled the paper cup in her long fingers and discarded the remains into her wastebasket. Yeah, right. Kristen scrounged in her purse for her keys, and once the huge ring was found, headed for the door. Sabrina joined her as she wended her way through the labyrinthine desks, tables, and chairs of the Clarion's newsroom. It had been her first job out of college, the one she thought she'd use as a stepping stone to bigger and brighter newspapers. Though her position had changed over the years, stretching, evolving, mutating, it said something she wasn't sure she wanted to examine, that she was still here. You should go out, Sabrina, all big brown eyes, cornrows, and metal jewelry, insisted. Find a guy. Have some fun. I'm married, remember? You're separated, have been for a year, and last I heard, you were going to divorce Ross's ass. Sabrina arched a perfect eyebrow. I know, it's just hard. Nuh-uh, I've done it 3 times. Maybe it'll get easier after the first one. You'll never know unless you try. Sabrina stopped at the hallway, leading to the restrooms. I've got a kid, Kristen reminded her. Who's nearly grown? Kristen snorted. 16 does not an adult make. You tell her that? Every day. Besides, I do happen to have a date tonight. Only it's with half a dozen women I haven't seen in 20 years. I got drafted into heading the damned high school reunion. No way. Drafted, Kristen stressed. I didn't volunteer. Sabrina wrinkled her long nose. Can't you go AWOL? I'm hoping to pawn the duties off on someone more deserving tonight. Good luck, Sabrina laughed and moseyed down the hall. Kristen shoved open